Yo, what's going on, man? The CGA back in here with another video. Thanks for joining me on the Notorious CGA channel. And I like these videos. I can just kick it with y'all and not do all the production and the microphone and all of that stuff and the lighting in the background and all of this stuff. But I want to kind of talk about something I talked about on one of my live streams, is that the power of this media, YouTube and social media, how you can basically just broadcast yourself around the world and become a worldwide figure, even with the smallest audience. And I wanted to share some of the times that I've been recognized in public, essentially caught off guard because I'm a private person as much as I am on social media. I'm pretty private. I'm a recluse. I stay at home. I'm very comfortable at home. I don't go out nighttime partying. I guess for the most part, I'm not the loudest person in the room. I don't go out and just be like, hey, here I am, y'all. Hey, y'all can get the party started type of dude. I'm really low, metal, low key. And even when I go out to the stores, I buy things, I'm really private. But there's been times I've been recognized by people who either follow me on Instagram, and I have a pretty significant audience for an older man like myself. And also for YouTube, people recognize me from that as well. So I really appreciate the people who recognize me, come up to me. I've had no problems when people recognize me. Nobody wanted to start a fight. I never met a crazy blue-haired feminist or a Karen who watched my show and had something negative to say. Never had that. Everybody's been great and respectful. Nobody's overstayed their welcome or anything like that. But I appreciate when you see me, recognize me in public, at least to acknowledge my work, and it makes me feel good. I'm just gonna think of a couple times just off the top of my head that I've had it and been surprised that people recognize me. Like I said, I have a pretty big ego, but I'm not a person that is like just trying to look to become famous and be recognized. So anyway, a couple of times, and surprisingly, women do recognize me. A time I was going to a massage place, and no, it was not a nasty massage, okay? It was a massage place, very standard. You go into the entryway, and I had scheduled a massage, walked in, young lady there. There were two young ladies there, and one of them was a young black woman, and standing behind the desk, bright smile, very bright eyes. And, you know, I checked in, sat to the side, and she got quiet and then said, hey, do you do YouTube? And I was like, you know, here we go. But this is like, you know, this is after I've been recognized over time. And I said, yeah, I do. And she was like, oh, yeah, I do. I recognize you. And that's normally how the conversations go, and was very nice. And I said, do you watch? Are you subscribed to it? Do you watch it often? She was like, no, I just recognize you. So that's an instance where I was recognized, and it was a woman, young woman, probably in her, I would say 20s. And she was pregnant at the time. And I think I asked her if she was a single mother, or I think that's kind of how the video, she said, I saw you talking about single mothers, and I asked if she was a single mother. She said no. All right, so, but just interesting that happened there. Also another time, and as I'm talking about it, I'm remembering all the times that I've been recognized. People have recognized me, you know, in the AutoZone. I remember two Latin brothers recognized me. I'm in there shopping for probably some incense or something for my car, and then I went to the guy, asked him a question, and then I'm standing in line waiting to be rung out. And, you know, they get quiet. People tend to get quiet. That's when I know they're going to recognize me. And I saw him scrolling the phone and showing his homeboy, oh, this is him type of thing. And then they were like, are you CGA? So I was like, yeah, you know, like, appreciate that. And I've got to catch myself, because in those instances, I could be somewhere with like prawn magazines, you know what I mean? You know, a whole bunch of sex toys or something like that. But, you know, it wasn't the case, and, you know, I was just getting some AutoZone stuff. So shout out to those brothers that recognized me there. A couple of other times, restaurants, airports, been recognized. A brother that was a bartender at a airport restaurant that I stopped in, I believe in Houston. He recognized me, and, you know, we took a picture, a selfie. And I remember when I was in Orlando, walking down the street, it's dark, right? So I'm walking down the street, and his brother sees me, and he was like, no way. Obviously, I'm from the West Coast, and he stops me. He's like, no way. And I was like, what, you know, what's going on? And he was like, it's CGA. So he called his boy on the phone, and his friend was the one that put him on to me. So he was like, I gotta call him up. So he called his friend up, and I was just like, you know, what's up? And then his friend was like, oh my God, you know, that type of thing. And that was just walking down the street in Orlando. and you know, I had to go down to the Walgreens to pick up some things because I was traveling to speak at the 21 convention, and I was recognized there. Definitely recognized down the street in Miami, down in Brickell, by a guy, Vlad P, who was one of my main subscribers for years. And so I'm down in Miami, walking down the street in Brickell, downtown Brickell, boom, run into Vlad P, and he was like, yo, CGA. So that was like another situation just out of the blue where I was recognized. My car's been recognized. I'm driving down the street, a brother pulled up next to me. It was like, CGA, what are you doing here? So that type of thing. And also when I'm with my kids, I've been recognized several times. There was a brother, I believe he was an Uber driver. I can't remember, but me and my son were going after one of his basketball practices or one of his basketball tournaments, and we were going into Subway. And I could just tell, I was like, they're about to recognize me. So the brother jumped out of his car, he's holding his phone, and he was like, oh man, I can't believe it's you. So, and that was early on. In my career. And actually some brothers at football games. I've bumped into guys at several sporting events where people recognize me. I think there was one where some brothers were sitting in front of me, like four older black men in their late 40s, mid 40s to 50s, and we're at the Raiders game, and I started talking, and then one of them turned around, are you CGA? So that happened, and then I was at the Raiders game again. A couple people recognized me. I was at another sports event with my son, and my son does this. He'll say, he was like, he'll bet me if I'm going to get recognized. He'll be like, I'll bet you this, you won't get recognized. And I was like, I bet you I will, type of thing. And I was at a sporting event. I can't remember. It was like I think it was in LA. It was at the Rams Raiders game or something like that. And some brothers recognized me there. I can't even remember. It was a high school basketball game. I can't remember where, but it was an older gentleman that recognized me, and I turned around and he was like, are you CGA? So, oh man, I'm trying to think of some other instances where in the public, oh, there was a brother that owned a shoe company in Las Vegas, a shoe store. And shout out to all these people. And if I forget your story, you know, apologies, this is off the top of my head. There was a guy, I was going in to look at sneakers, and in the mall in Las Vegas, I think if you guys know the Miracle Mile, shout out to this brother. It's basically a long indoor mall. And basically, I was in there and looking at shoes, and he walked up to me, tall, slender white guy, young, probably in his mid 20s, early 20s. And he walked up to me with my Instagram up, and he was like, is this you? So yeah, you know, it's kind of a weird thing because I thought I would get to 10,000 subscribers and that would be the end of things. But obviously you can reach across the world and have a worldwide appeal and be recognized with this power. And it's not necessarily subscribers, it's views. A lot of people that view you, at least they don't subscribe to you. You know what I mean? They may not even follow you on a daily basis, but your vision, your personality, your imagery is always projected on these things, even if they don't follow you as a regular following people. So you do get recognized quite a bit. And if you want to do this and you don't want to get recognized, don't do this, because eventually you will get recognized. And I will say, I'm happy that most of the people who recognized me did not, like, there was no ill will, there was no bad stuff, right? A valet guy recognized me once, and many times my car stands out too. So if I'm using my car and then I'm in a certain area, no matter if I'm in California, Nevada, if that car's there, people will recognize the car. And I'm glad nobody has any ill will against me. I've never experienced that, thank goodness. And I always think that what if the people, because like the people who recognize you, they come up to you, they say something. I'm like, what about the people who recognize you and don't say anything? I grew up in Southern California all my life, so I've been around celebrities all my life, and not every time I recognize a celebrity, I say anything to them. Many times you see a celebrity, you figure don't bother them, or you might say something or take a picture from afar. Most times you don't bother them. So I often wonder, what about the times that people recognize me, didn't say anything? Or what if somebody, a hater, recognizes me and they're like, oh, you know, and follow me home or something like that? I sometimes think about that, and I do have to do that for my protection and security. So I do spend a lot of money on security and a lot of time thinking about security as well, because you never know. You never know. But all that being said, I'm sure there's more stories that I left out that I just can't think of off the top of my head. And I'll give you a ratio. When I go out, probably 30% chance that I'm going to get recognized. Even when I'm with other women. Oh, I was in Pittsburgh once and I was with a woman. So that tends to do happen. Oh, I'll say this too. On a dating app, which is a dating app that I promote on my locals, I was recognized on there by some women on there too. So you never know, but I do have, am recognized out with women. Sometimes the women don't know what I do, and then somebody will recognize me and they'll be like, wait, who are you? Other times there's a woman that knows what I do, and then they expect it and anticipate it. So sometimes I'll give them a warning and say, somebody might come up to me. But the ratio that I'm recognized when I'm out, I say possibly about 30%, maybe 25% of the chances that I'm outside eating, sporting events. There's a 25 to 30% chance that I'm gonna be recognized. And that's just the world that we live in and all of that stuff. But I appreciate that there's been no harm and none of that stuff that happened. Everybody's been nice. Everybody's been nice. So anyway, look, man, like the video, man, and let's get out of here. Peace.